Does it feel like recently everybody around you has been suddenly obsessed with birds? If it feels like birding is everywhere, you're not crazy, and there are some reasons why this is. Let's go inside and talk about them. I've gone ahead and narrowed it down to 5 main reasons why it seems like birding is everywhere, but first I want to start off with some statistics. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service did a demographic and economic survey on birding in 2022 and found that 37% of the population ages 16 and older, which is about 96 million people, consider themselves birders. This includes backyard birders, people who tried to identify birds around their home, which was 91 million people, or 35% of the US population, and traveling birders, people who traveled at least a mile away to look at them, as 43 million people, or 16% of the population. And there is overlap between those two groups, that's why it seems kind of strange. So 96 million total, 91 million considered backyard birders, 43 million considered traveling birders, and there's significant overlap with people that considered themselves as both. The average age in this survey was 49. 23 million of those people were 65 and older, 19 million were 55 to 64, and 44% were over 55. Additionally, eBird, which is an electronic bird sighting database, recently surpassed 2 billion bird sightings by users in 253 countries. And in 2026, the Great Backyard Bird Count, which is a day in February where people go out and try to find as many birds as they can globally, had 1.14 million people participate from 216 countries or eBird subregions. So as you can tell, a lot of people are interested in looking at birds, and a lot of those people are over the age of 55, but recently we are seeing more of Gen Z getting interested in birding. Some of the reason for that is because of these as well. So let's get started with our list. Number 1, the pandemic created a lot of new birders. Although it's hard to gather the exact statistics, the COVID-19 pandemic likely created millions of new birders. While people weren't supposed to be socializing, they were looking for outdoor activities that were safe or something they could do close to home, and also a reason to get outside. Many people bought binoculars, a bird feeder, or noticed birds for the first time and just never stopped. So with more people looking for outdoor activities, birding got a big boost. And additionally, I just think with more people at home, they started spending more time looking out their windows and being like, what is that bird? I want to learn more about that. And then they kind of got hooked. And that's how birding is it really just takes one thing to get you started. People call it a spark bird if it's a particular species that you see, and that's the bird that really gets you into it and takes you down this path of then you're obsessed with birding later on. But I think for COVID, that just created the opportunity for people to want to do something new, and birding was the perfect hobby that you could do alone, close to home, and people just started exploring it and learning to love it. Additionally, birding is now way more accessible than it used to be. Years ago, people would carry around paper field guides and try to identify the things they were seeing. But now we have apps that do a lot of the work for us. There's so much information you can get online, and it's really easy to get connected and learn more about birds and birding. One of the biggest additions for accessibility, in my opinion, is the Merlin Bird ID app. It's basically an app you download, and there's a cool feature where you can just press a button. It'll listen to what it's hearing, and it'll try to tell you what birds it's identifying. It's not always 100% correct, but a lot of the time it is, and it's really cool to see what it's seeing and then see if you can hear it or see it. And even if you're not that interested in birds, it's still just fascinating technology. Another one is eBird, which is that database we talked about earlier where you can input bird sightings. It'll keep a list of the birds you've seen. You can also try to find an individual species. We've done tutorials on these, so I'll put a link in the description if you want to learn more about them. Additionally, there's smart bird feeders with cameras, so you can actually see what's coming to your bird feeder. There's also smart bird houses, which I think are incredible. You can watch your birds grow up. Even smart bird baths. So a lot more smart technology that you're able to see your birds more often than you would without it. There's more identification tools too. The Merlin Bird ID app we talked about, they have a feature where you can put in a photo, give it some info, and it'll try to identify it as well. Also, cameras got way better and more affordable. So a lot of people get into birding from photography. They'll want to take pictures, and then they'll start taking pictures of birds. They'll want to learn more about it. They'll start traveling for it. So that's another thing where the barrier to entry is lower. So in general, the technology you need to learn more about birds has gotten way more accessible, so it's easier for anyone to kind of get into it. I remember when we started birding about 11 years ago at this point, I think. We had a friend who was a birder as a kid, and he thought that he was the only one who did it. So he just said, I thought this was just something I did, before he realized there was a community around it. So it is way more accessible than ever. Next up, social media has changed the landscape of birding. I remember when I started, the big thing in Wisconsin was there was an email server where you would sign up for it and it would send you people's emails of rare birds that they were seeing. eBird and Facebook groups were a thing, but not as big as they are now. And even further than that, there used to be a rare bird hotline. So you would call the number and it would tell you what rare birds were being seen. So the landscape has just completely changed. Now there's loads of people on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube talking about birds, making you feel like it's something that's a little more mainstream. There's also been a couple different movies about birding. The one that got me and my brother into it for the first time was the movie The Big Year with Jack Black, Owen Wilson, and Steve Martin. Still love that movie. There's also a Hallmark movie about birding that came out recently, as well as a documentary on YouTube called Listers that's gotten a lot of people into it. It's a real mixed bag for me about how accurately it is portraying the birding community, but there is some good stuff in there, and if you want to check out our review, I'll put a link to it in the description. With social media, it's also easier to see conservation stories and want to learn more about how to help bird populations. A lot of them are in decline, or learn more about gardening or how to attract birds to your yard, which is a big section of those who consider themselves birders, people that do it mostly in their backyard. Next up, we have number 4. People are looking for some slower hobbies. This kind of goes with social media, but I think a lot of people are getting burnt out with being on their phone all the time. They're sick of seeing all this AI stuff and they want a hobby where they can just go out and be in nature. And especially if you live in the city, it's really important to get away and have a hobby that's a little bit slower. And also, I think a lot of people are realizing that birding is very similar to Pokemon. So if you were a fan of Pokemon as a kid, you're probably going to enjoy birding as well, because you go out and instead of catching these different things, you're capturing them on your list or with a photo or just enjoying seeing them. So I think that primed a lot of people into getting into birding as well. But it's a great hobby to slow down, enjoy the natural world, and I think a lot of people are looking for that now with how much technology's kind of taken over. And the last one. The culture has really changed. When my brother and I started birding, it really had this stigma as being a hobby for retired people. That's what we loved about the movie The Big Year, is it just made birding seem like this big adventure. And once we realized how fun it was and that it's for everyone, that's actually why we started our YouTube channel, is to showcase what birding was so that people could learn more about it. And I think that's happening a lot right now as people are getting their eyes open to how cool the hobby is. And I think in the past it felt like it was really inaccessible and it was only for a certain type of person, but now it feels like birding is really for everyone and it's been getting more into the mainstream. Now you have celebrities talking about birds, more young people sharing bird sightings online, bird-themed fashion, art, and home decor. It actually seems like birding is becoming more of a cool hobby. I think it's kind of still in the hipster phase where some people aren't willing to admit they like it. They almost have to do it ironically. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing, but I can't actually admit that I enjoy it. And so eventually I think it'll move past that at some point, but I think it is a little bit still in the hipster phase. But it is definitely more in the forefront, and I'm hoping that can kind of shift to conservation, where we all agree how awesome birds are and that we want to save them, that we should put more time and resources into preserving their habitats, which will not only help them, but other animals as well. So is birding really everywhere? In a way it is, and it has gotten a lot more popular. But it is important to note that with social media and stuff, if you like one birding video, it's gonna show you a bunch more. So sometimes in this landscape, when things are so targeted to the individual, it might feel like it's everywhere because it's your interest and it's easy to tailor what we see to our interests. But in general, it really has gotten bigger, and I think it is gonna grow from here. So those are 5 reasons why it feels like birding is suddenly everywhere. Let me know which one you thought was most interesting in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.